Hello, friends. My name is Aslam Sheikh, your host for this evening, and I'm the founder and CEO of Alif, a platform to promote the global perspective of education and career. This is our 25th webinar series and broadcasted live on Facebook and YouTube channel. Every Friday, we aim to bring in the valuable speakers to discuss the topics that is important to our students and parents. For the benefit our new viewers who are joining us first time, I would quickly introduce you who we are and what we do. So here I share the screen so that you will get to know. Great. So the Alif is the first alphabet or first letter, precisely in Arabic and Urdu language, and since it signifies the beginning, that's the reason why we kept this name as our company. These are a core team. I'll just quickly go through an introduction. So we established in 2008. We have counseled over 23,000 students, have got 100% admission ratio to the university. We represent 95% visa ratio, and we represent 14 plus countries. Our affiliations are globally recognized, like ICF and WEBA are Germany and Swiss-based international bodies to which we are affiliated with. We won the Silver Partner Award from British Council and also won few other awards from the different organizations. In COVID time, we won the among the top 10 most recommended overseas education consulting award by the Insight Success Media House. We guarantee the admission to the university that comes out of our expertise in mapping up your application to the right university. These are some of the world's renowned universities where our students are studying for last 10 years. They've been studied and graduated. What another thing we assured is a scholarship. Until now, in this last 11 years or so, we have distributed over 23 crore rupees of Indian rupees of scholarship to our students through our universities. These are some of the students in front of you. The scholarship could be as low as $1,500 to as high as 100% tuition fee waiver for your program. What do we offer is a career counseling to kids. Basically, that's a stepping stone because you may not be clear about what you want to do. So we use certain technologies to help you out to identify your strengths and weaknesses. And then we also offer IELTS coaching. IELTS is the English test, which is compulsory by almost all the universities. These are some of the students. And in terms of study abroad consulting, we start our services right from student profiling to application, education loan to finding the accommodation before even you travel abroad. The countries which we represent are based out of Europe, North America, Middle East, and Asia Pacific. That's in front of your screen. These are the different countries which we represent. We also help the students to prepare themselves. So cross-culture training, etiquettes, dining etiquettes, etc. Those are the other programs which we offer to the students. We assure the quality which we offer, and that's the reason why we've been rated 95% as for the student satisfaction rate. Me, my staff do travel a lot to different universities to meet our students. We've been rated 4.6 out of 5 on Facebook and 4.2 out of 5 on Google. We have got one of the largest followers on Facebook. We do a lot of events, or we participate in a lot of events which are there in front of you. We do visit, as I mentioned, to the universities and meet our students. Some of the success stories, like Shweta from Mumbai, now settled in New Jersey, USA, after doing a master's in electrical engineering. And then Akshay got his first job immediately after doing his 11th month of MBA while studying in Ireland. So these are some success stories about me. Well, I have counseled personally 1,000 plus students, visited 14 plus countries, and keep on doing so. Certified by international bodies as an international counselor, member of different organization, and also in the COVID time, I had an opportunity to be selected among the top 10 best consulting leaders by the Knowledge Review. So that's a small introduction, and let's come back to our today's topic and today's point. So if as a listener, if you are a subject expert in any particular topic and you think that you can add value to our show for the benefit of our students and parents, do write to me on my email ID aslam@alif.in. Okay, so let's move on to today's topic, the promising career in information technology. And to discuss these exciting subjects, we have with us an expert panel of speakers. Let me do the honor of introducing them one by one. So let me have our first speaker in the mainframe. And let's welcome Mr. Aritra Ghoshal. Hi, Aritra. How are you?
Hi, Aslam. How are you doing? Good too. And thank you very much for having me on the session.
Pleasure. And just I will read out your bio for introduction of your personality to our audience. So Aritra is a regional head of National College of Ireland. He's a founder and director of One Step Global, is an education management company based in India and Malaysia. It helps global academic institutions to land and expand across Asia through in-country representation and stakeholders management. A graduate, Aritra is a graduate from University of Sheffield. He's an expert in overseas education, service delivery, and strategic management. In his career, he has worked with Fortune 500 companies, early startups, and not-for-profit organizations. Thank you, Aritra, for joining us, and I'll come back to
Thanks.
you again.
Sure, thanks.
Okay, let me do the honor of introducing another speaker, Mr. Neville Sangvi from AntraWeb. Hello, Neville. Thank you for
Yeah, hi,
joining.
hi. Yeah, good evening. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great, Neville. I'll just do the introduction for you. So Neville is a CEO, R&D Delivery, AntraWeb Technologies Private Limited. And he's also a Vice President of Bombay Industries Association, which we call dearly BIA. Neville Sangvi pursued his software engineering from Mumbai University in the early 90s. And I believe that not many people were looking at that time where Neville took a very innovative step, from that education point of view. When all his batchmates took the path of joining corporates and moving to US, which is pretty obvious in today's days as well, he decided to create his own IT startup. And he's co-founded AntraWeb Technologies, which specializes in providing enterprise solutions to small and medium enterprises. His company has served more than 35,000 customers across various business verticals in India and across the globe. He's also a vice president of Bombay Industry Association, an organization which represents SMEs on all platforms, including government, and does various activities for the growth and the visibility of their members. So thank you, Neville, for joining us.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'll come back to you soon. Okay, so let's begin with the topic. And the topic, as we all know, and I've already received a lot of inquiries, a lot of questions with me, which I have tried to incorporate it in my questions. And then let's have our speakers to answer those questions. And meantime, if you have any questions listening live to us, please do feel comfortable to write in the comment box, and we'll be more than happy to have your questions answered by any of our speakers. Okay, so the topic emphasizes onto the career in the field of information technology. It's it is as a very wide subject to discuss in this 30 to 40 minutes time frame, but we will try to address the very basic questions, and we are coming back again with the fresh programs with a specific subject based programs which has been requested by students and parents. So let's try to first understand what is information technology? And in order to discuss that question, let me invite Aritra in the room, and let's understand from Aritra, with his knowledge and experience, how does Aritra defines information technology as a field of study? Aritra.
Thanks, Aslam. And I think, it has been there for the early part of 2000, and once that happened, and it became a great career choice for students. I've been working for the last 8 years with, Irish education and also education in UK, and I've seen that multiple students, hundreds of students have studied this particular domain of information technology. But it's a huge domain, it's physical computing, parallel computing, high performance computing. So the knowledge that information technology has, it's unending, and anything to do with I think higher education, even if you are a finance graduate and if you want to work in a bank, they are following, mostly IT-driven solutions. You go to a pharmaceutical company, they're also there. Then now is the age of data, right? So as they say that companies like Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter are more powerful than Shell or British Petroleum, because they have the strength of data. And how data has changed from insight generation to actually automation, that on a phone you can just give a command to a Siri, and that that automation can happen and human labor is reduced. So I think information technology is not only as a subject area, but it is very much amalgamated in our life, and it is a way of life now for any individual who is doing anything to do with a laptop, a computer, or a mobile phone. And to end this, I think, to conclude this, I think information technology or ICT or IT or anything that you say is skill. And that is the most important thing for anybody who is listening to us, is that any student who is listening to us, it is a skill-driven education. If you want to go and do management, if you want to go and do marketing, that requires skill. I'm not saying that, don't get me wrong, but this is a particular skill. Medicine and tech, these two areas are actually skill driven, and this is where opportunities abroad, studying abroad lies, that after you study, jobs are very easily available for tech students, and this is where information technology is so important for Indian students.
Absolutely. I mean, what you rightly said, that this skill is going to be the crucial skill, and we can no longer run away from the skill saying that, oh, I'm not tech savvy. So it's going to be the redundant statement, I believe, in the coming, and already has been proved that in this situation, you have to be a tech savvy, no matter in which areas you study and you work. And what you rightly said is that you got to have the skills as a part of your main skills. Thank you, Aritra, for giving this insight. I'll come back to you soon. And I've got another very interesting question. And this is what, guys, we'll do, is that we'll have one academic and one industry question, so that you can immediately connect what you are seeing from the schools and college and studies point of view. And you'll try to connect through with the help of Neville Sanghvi, that how does it look from the industry point of view. So Neville, first question comes to you. And this is, again, the most asked question by students and parents, is that we heard, I mean, we have got the data in front of us, the employability data released by the government, and then the engineering field shows only 45% employability ratio out of the students who have been graduated, and that includes computer IT as well as non-IT school students. So as a successful IT company who has been customizing the Tally software and doing beyond this work and serving to one of the best clients in India, how do you see, what kind of challenges IT graduates face when they graduates and they try to enter into the industry?
Yeah, thanks, Aslam. Let me start by describing India's computer science graduate. High in quantity and not so in quality. See, I'm not saying because of the caliber of the student, but because of the outdated education system. The biggest challenge, according to me, is the employability of the graduates. As you said, you are so right about it. The government status data, itself, they are talking about around 20 to 40%. The world is moving fast on computer technology, and the education system is not updated accordingly. There is vast difference in what skills the industry requires versus what the graduates develop during the course. My advice to the student is like, they should not be dependent on the BE, BTech final year project, which should, they do it from the last terminal or 8th semester. Instead, they should work in an industry as an apprentice starting from first year. I would say the graduate should keep themselves abreast with various IT technology and join short-term courses and work as much as possible with industry while doing their studies. And I'll end with another advice. Also, please don't stop here. It is important to pursue further studies and also specialize in specific area of interest, because computer technology is, IT technology is not, it's very vast, and you have to find your field after graduation, and that's where you can pursue further on that.
Absolutely. So I think it's a golden piece of advice coming from Neville, that you are not supposed to stop at the graduation or the education level. You need to keep on learning the new things and focus on to one particular thing, because it's as vast as it could be. Thank you, Neville, for this insight. I'll come back to you with another question. Meantime, I'll just move to Aritra. Aritra, now we've seen that the IT is taking up now, and national education policy is talking about introducing coding in the 6th standard, and all the stuffs are happening. What are the courses eventually you see are in demand at the moment in the market for the students to pursue? Because IT, as Neville said very clearly, that it's a very vast field, and then people are confused. So how do you advise them to pick up the courses, and which are there in demand as per your experience and exposure?
Right. So I think there are two aspects to the question. One is, that what are the courses which are in demand right now? And I'll come to that. But I want to answer the first part of the question, that, how do you suggest a student to take up what category of the entire broad field that we have? I think first of all, look into your interests that you are, because we meet students every day pretty much, and sometimes I ask a student that, like cloud computing, and they'll say, "Oh, cloud computing won't have much of programming, right?" And I'm like, "Why are you get scared of programming?" Because he thinks that cloud computing is mostly the architecture part, and it's mostly towards network security or the networking part. But cloud has software as a service. So cloud has software and coding and programming into that. No, it's not only infrastructure as a service, but software as a service is one part of cloud. So I think the national education policy and the Indian government, if they are looking for introducing coding and programming into very elementary levels, that is going to be very, very important. It's like you love English literature, but you don't like Shakespeare. How is that possible? If you like computer science, then you have to like programming also. That's one part. And the second part is that what are the programs that are looking for or people should be looking forward to? I think I would say data analytics, artificial intelligence, cyber security, cloud computing. So you can see that slowly physical computing has been replaced by parallel computing, and slowly we are moving into the field of parallel computing. And that is where I think the interest also lies, and most of the programs are getting delivered like that. And but the last piece is that from my side will be that don't get afraid of programming, because if you have chosen computer science as or information technology, programming or coding, as Neville was mentioning correctly, that a lot of Indian students tend to only depend on their final year project, whereas they should have some hands-on experience. And I have studied myself in the West, and in the West, they always go for hands-on experience, that actually the real world matters. So go on and do some internships or work somewhere and get your hands-on experience on that.
Absolutely right. So that's very important for the students and parents to know. It's those who are listening. We have already got 55 plus students, parents across the different platform joining us. So friends, we are hearing our speakers saying very clearly that don't be afraid of the program writing about the aspects, and then try your hands on as an intern to start off your career in the IT industry. Thank you, Aritra. Thank you very much for this thing. Okay, let's move to Neville. And Neville, now when we look at this in-demand program, so how do you see is going to be the IT trend? So you come from the industry background. How the trends you are vouching, and what is your assumptions and what's your experience says that how the IT industry is going to move forward for students' point of view?
See, the IT jobs that are still around since long are software programming, as Arita said, it is there. It is going to stay forever. Web development, database administrator, network engineer, system analyst, and many more similar. But the last few years trend have moved to mobile-based technology, mobile-based development, video game designer, IT security specialist, data science, health information technicians, digital marketing. And each of this again is vast. If you just take data science itself, it will give you different opportunity in the area of data mining, data visualizer, data analyst, machine learning engineers. So there are lots of needs and shortage in the area of cloud technology, big data, blockchain, artificial intelligence, robotics. So these are the current trends, which somebody has to really understand their own interest area, as Aritra said, and focus and be in that particular direction.
Absolutely. So, friends, there are lots of things which are happening around and inside the IT industry, and you got to really keep a tap onto it. And what Neville very clearly, in the end said that you got to identify your strengths. And in order to take this point further, I would like to introduce you the idea that many of times students are not sure what they want to do, or within the field what specialization they want to choose. And in order to help that, Alif always tries to find out the ways and means to introduce you the tools and techniques through which you identify your own strengths and weaknesses. So let me introduce, and those who are regularly attending, that every Friday we announce a special discount for our student ability test. And this is the test which helps the students to identify their strengths and weaknesses. It's an online test of around 200 questions. It takes around nice 2 hours. So this test usually is cost 5,000 rupees, but only for Friday we offer it for 999. In that you get a report. If you need a counseling, you can always come back to us. So this is the link in front of you. So you can just click on this link, and it's valid only for today. So when you click it, so you fill up the information and then you make the online payment, and this test you save 4,000 rupees for today's. So if you want to know about your own self more, then take this advantage, which is otherwise not available from tomorrow onwards. Okay, so thank you, Neville, for this. And let's go back to Aritra. Aritra also is a regional head of National College of Ireland. It's very well-renowned institute in Ireland. So let's try to understand from Aritra, out of his experience being associated with National College of Ireland. Aritra, our audience would like to know from you that what's this college is all about, and they always have got a very common question that should we go for a college or a university? Is there a difference? And if that has to be some difference, then will that always connect to the career outcome as well if they choose college over university? So would you like to take us around the tour of NCI?
Yeah, sure. I think the first part, let's get the first part out, that college or university. I think it's a very British thing, because we, by the dint of them staying over for 300 years, we tend to follow the British norms. Like in Ireland, it is nothing to do with college or university. And my answer to this always is the biggest tech school in the world, which is called Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's not a university, right? So it's an institution, and nobody will ever doubt a degree from MIT. So I think that is not the bone of contention. One, and second, I think NCI is a standalone institution which reports to the same body as a Trinity College or a University College of Dublin does, and there are great universities. So NCI is extremely strong in computer science. No bones to that. That it is a very strong technical institution, and especially in the field of cloud, data, security, financial technology, artificial intelligence, these programs that NCI has, because we talk to the industry, and the industry in Ireland is predominantly data center driven economy, or data center driven, IT that Ireland has, because Ireland had a lot of land, and the corporate taxations are very low in Ireland. So companies came in and they opened up their data centers. So from Microsoft, IBM, Apple, Amazon, everybody has their data centers in and around Ireland. In a data center, you will understand that cloud, data, security are becoming extremely important. So whenever our Indian students are going to study at NCI, they kind of figure out that these courses are relevant to Ireland and to Irish economy, and that is where the synergy happens. What kind of course you should do according to your interest, and also it should match opportunities that the country that you're choosing to study and to spend this amount of money that are there. NCI is a government-funded institution. It is ranked, by the QS in certain things. It is ranked 5 stars, certain things it is ranked 4 stars. But honestly, I would, because we are discussing on information technology, this particular institution is a solid computer science or computing school, because I say to students, and this is how I will finish it off, that every institution in the world will have a strong point. Whenever you say Harvard, you kind of think about business, law, right? Whenever I say about MIT, you kind of think about tech, but MIT has an equally good business school, Crosslaw School of Management. But but still MIT is known for the technology courses. So my point is that whenever any student whom you are listening to us here, that when you are trying to go for overseas education, first choose the program that you want to choose or want to study. Then choose the institution which is particularly strong at that area. And then choose the country which has opportunities in the subject area that you are studying. This is how your route should be. What Indian students do is completely go the other way around. First they choose the country, then they choose the college, and then they say, they go to the laundry list. Okay, this college has got these programs, so let's do one of these programs. That's the absolute wrong way of doing things. So whoever is listening, I just heard you that 55, 60 students have already joined, or enthusiasts have already joined. I'm not saying only students, but enthusiasts have already joined. And please follow this pattern, because this is going to make you successful going forward.
Absolutely. I think that's a very important information which you shared, and very rightly said that always look out for the program which you're looking for, connected with the famous college and then to a country. On the similar note, I would like to invite now in the room Neville. Neville, how do you see the trends, and the same connecting questions, but having an industry point of view from your side, that the NEP, National Education Policy, we did 2 programs and we had a lot of questions, and then good participation from the speakers and audience, and getting excited about having a coding being introduced. So what is the practical aspect? And you see from the industry point of view, how good it's going to be from the student point of view, and how does it impact for them to take a career take the further specialization in the IT field?
Yeah, Aslam, let me start by what is coding. It's a combination of a language, structured language, and logic. See, maths, science, languages, history, civic, geography, whatever is taught in school, right? When children learn to code, they develop essential skills such as problem solving, logic, and critical thinking. I am big advocate of early exposure to coding. Incidentally, I started my career just after graduation, opening a computer training institute in a school for students from 3rd standard. And this is, I'm talking about way back in 1992, when 99% of the people didn't even have seen a computer, or maybe more. I'm just, so we started teaching them a language called Logo, which was on DOS platform. Windows was not there at that time. And I was amazed to see them learning it in no time. Children learn language and logic quicker than adults. It comes natural to them. I think it's a good move by government, and it will definitely be beneficial to the so-called generation next.
Yes, I mean, it's very interesting to note that that's the reason why I believe that you are a successful entrepreneur, because you've been visionary to see that where the attention should go, and then you're comparing very interestingly the coding language to the language the way the kids anyways would learn. So you're saying that that's good thing to have to develop their logic ability, right? Absolutely. Thank you very much, Neville. It was really interesting. We have one question, if any one of you would like to answer, that after doing cloud computing, what could be the career options available for the students?
So, do you want me to take up?
Yeah, if you can, please.
Yeah. So, see, if you specialize in cloud computing, then you can be into things like migration of legacy systems to cloud and deployment, because most of the companies right now, they are in the process of migrating from a legacy old systems, standalone or in a local network. So migration, that's a big work which even we are doing at the moment. Second thing is, as Aritra said, you have to learn programming. The languages are different languages, Python, Java, Swift, C, all these languages are so critical, and ultimately you are collecting data. See, data is the new raw material, if it is processed, and that gives rise to so many, the industry is changed because of this processing of data. If you see Uber, for that matter, they work only on data. Data is collected at every point. If you see, as Aritra said, Facebook or Google, they only work on that. They are the richest and the most used application in the world. So with this comes database management, big data, then DevOps, because it gives rise to structured way of executing project, artificial intelligence, machine learning. These are all part of cloud computing.
Okay,
So
great.
so many opportunities when you do cloud computing.
Great. So great. Thank you, Alvin. I hope that you get your answers correct. If you have anything else, you can just write in your comment. Thank you, Neville. On the similar note, I would just like to take our conversation further with Aritra. Aritra, how do you see, we are talking about now entering into a career zone of the students from the education to career. How does NCI helps or supports the students to identify the right career options, and what role do they play to help the students to find the career in Ireland?
Okay. I think the institution helps in two ways. One is in a way, two blocks. One block will be profile development, so CV writing, covering letter, LinkedIn profile, and because a lot of Indian students think that CV writing, I can write my CV on my own, and they will put their picture on there and then 4 graphs. And if you put that CV to a Microsoft, they'll say that what's the point? So we follow a thing called SAR, so specific action and result. That every CV should be written on this. That even if you have played football, how that has resulted into an action and what was the final result is very, very important. So our career services, will go through each and every international student and make them write a CV which actually is good for them to go and grow forward. The second part is networking. I think all the institutions in Western Europe, especially, they will have, and especially NCI will have tie-ups with industries. They will bring in corporations like Microsoft, Amazon, SAP, you name it. Big four accounting firms, JP Morgan, Citi. All these corporations come down to our campus. They talk to students. They take their CV. They interact with them. They tell them that these are the kind of things that we are working on. What is your passion, and what is what does you want to do? What do you want to do? And then if they are convinced with you, or if they like you as a candidate, they call you for an interview. So this is how the entire process works for the career support. But one point that Indian students, especially our students, should understand that, to a certain extent, I go back to Neville's first point when he was answering the first question of the education system. The education system in India has been following a pattern which is right, that a professor comes in, he teaches, and people grasp the knowledge, and they go and they do the, in Hindi they say ulti, or or vomiting, right? I think in the Western education system, it's completely the other way around. So they will ask a student to come prepared into the class,
Right.
have a discussion, have a problem solving session with the professor. So let's say I am a student, I've read about machine learning and I don't understand these points. I'll ask the question to the professor, and the professor will answer the questions. So similarly, Indian education systems have also been following on the part of placement. I look into a lot of Indian education and Indian education colleges and all. They write 100% placement, 150% placement. I don't know what 150% is, but let's say 100, more than 100%. So that is not good for students, because what you are doing is you are making this a direct correlation between your education to the job that you are going to do. And maybe in the Western world it is not that way. It's about your education, your all-round development, your networking skills, your personality, your tech ability, and what you bring on the table is a byproduct of you getting a job. So I think just to reiterate what you all two of you were saying, that while NCI does a lot on the career assistance and placement assistance, I think the Indian students have to understand that it is not like India, that TCS will come one day or Antraweb will come one day and take 50 students out of the college. It doesn't happen like that. So they will have to do it's a two-way process. They will also have to brush up their skills and brush up the networking abilities also.
Good. So, friends, what Aritra is very clear about is that you need to play your part, being a good student, complete your studies, do your projects, being available, make best use of all the services offered by and support offered by the college. Maybe it as basic as preparing and making your CV, right? So don't take it anything for granted. Be participative, and then the things would start moving into your direction when you follow the instructions given by the college, and you have got one of the best options available, being in Ireland, for that matter. On the same note, I would just like to come to Naval. Naval, now, as an industry person, uh, if I would like to ask you a question, that if a student has got on his CV an international exposure, whether in terms of education or job or together, combined together, how does IT company, or a company, for example, yours, would see at that profile?
Well, working in a foreign country or an international exposure looks very impressive on the CV and will help the candidate application stand out in the competitive job market. So, if international education and internship experience can often be the difference between two strong candidates. I don't say, if both the things are same, definitely that international experience will come to the fore. I can say you are seen as an organized. When I see somebody coming from abroad and spend some time out there, I see them more organized, independent, and like an adventurous candidate. So you have definitely explored a new country. If you have gone outside, you have immersed yourself into new culture. You have met so many people. The business world is, see, our business is also now, all Indian businesses are getting international. So employer are increasingly turning to this candidate that have overseas experience. So I strongly recommend. In fact, I strongly recommend people who are watching to spend couple of years abroad, even if you are planning to join family business back home in India.
I think that's a very important point what you made, because many times the parents are in two minds, especially when they connect with us with the family background of having a business. They say that everything is already been set and done. They just need to come and take it over. And then should we or should we not support them to go abroad? And what you're saying is that this international exposure would certainly help them to take that family business maybe to the next level. Absolutely right. Thank you, Neville. Thank you for that. Aritra, on this topic, if we have to see that how Ireland provides a scope in the field of IT, because today we are just touching that point of IT. Very interesting point the ambassador made when we had the session in Bombay, that around 80% students who apply to Ireland for higher education are from IT background or IT related background. So why do you think that why there is an influx of students going to Ireland for IT related program?
I think it is because that 74% of their exports is IT services. So it is IT hub. It is headquarters of companies like Accenture. Accenture is actually headquartered out of Dublin, and the global headquarters is in Dublin. And the European headquarters of Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, they have all their European headquarters in Dublin. I think that is where students are feeling that if I land in Ireland, and there are loads of data centers and small startups. So the students feel that if I land in Ireland, I may be getting a chance to work with them, and the problem that Ireland has, and that this is where the advantage for international students will be, that though they have all these companies based out of in Dublin, in Cork, in Limerick, wherever they are, there is an acute skill shortage, because first of all, it's a small country with small population. And then the Europeans come in because it's in the EU, but still there is a good amount of gap in skilled shortage. And when I was saying that IT is predominantly skill, it is a skill. I can't do it if I don't go back to the college and do it. I can't do it. I'm an economics graduate. I won't be able to do it. It's not a transferable skill. You have to learn it and understand it and do it. So I think that is why students are going so many. And in the last 7 years that I've worked with Ireland education, I've seen at least 90% of Indian students are working there in big organizations, in big companies, starting from Facebook to Google, And I can say only about NCI. I'm not sure about other institutions, but at least in NCI, people are working, and it's a great story to tell our aspiring students, whoever is listening, that if you take the step in the right direction, you will end up in the right place in a fantastic country like Ireland.
Absolutely. So, friends, that's a very promising news for us, that why people choose Ireland maybe over other countries, especially when it comes down to IT. And then Aritra gave very insightful information, and that must be giving you some confidence when you are still unsure that how should you select the country based on the program what you're looking for. Okay, so the next question comes to Neville. Neville, we've spoken about IT. Now, what are the other non-IT fields? Because this has a lot been spoken in the newspapers, magazines, and especially whenever you take the interview of a IT entrepreneur, he has to say the same thing, is that one thing is that they are struggling with the students with the IT skills still, basic IT skills. And second is a non-IT skills, which is also a big challenge for the company to encounter while selecting the candidate. So according to you, what are the three top non-essential IT skills which you would like to see in the graduates along with the IT graduation they build up over the period of time, so that they become more employable from the industry point of view?
See, for when I check out a person, I would put right attitude right on the top. See, hiring someone with all the right skills and hoping that the right attitude will appear may result in disaster. If a new hire doesn't seems to be progressive, it is because of attitude and not skills, because skills has been evaluated at the time of recruitment.
So true.
Many of us don't look at the attitude and thus miss the race. So I think that is the first thing. Second, I would put, hunger to prove, hunger to learn, hunger to do something in life. I would focus on hiring the hungry candidate who can deliver something good to the company. And other thing, definitely, integrity. See, you or me or anybody else in the organization will not trust an employee who lacks integrity and ethics, regardless of great results that individual has achieved. So hiring a person who compromises on integrity, ethics is a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely.
So I think these three, and I would put a couple of more, a good communication skills and teamwork.
I think that's also very important. I mean, many times people complain about the engineer graduates, especially. I'm not trying to bias, but that's what the data suggests, or the report suggests, that the communication skill is where most of the engineers lacks, and that's a main pain point for the companies to hire them.
Absolutely. In a IT environment, it's more about teamwork, right? And communication plays a very important role. If you take time to convey, it is actually, you are a bottleneck in the entire chain of people who actually work with each other, and so communication is a very key aspect of hiring.
So how many people you employ in your organization?
So we have 250 plus employees at the moment. Yeah, and most of them, they are into different segment. Programming is one of the important. Then there are people who are consultants who actually are in touch with SMEs and they suggest solutions to them. There are people who are into understanding system analysis and putting things in place so that it can be programmed. Right. And definitely there are some things which are related to after sales support. Right. So in a way, actually, we are into more of a business software, or you can say an ERP software solutions, basically.
So friends, you are hearing right from the horse's mouth. The entrepreneur who employs 250 people definitely knows much more than most of us, that what are the challenges the student bring in with them, which they may be ignoring whilst continuing with their normal graduation. And these are the things which I've already noted down in the comment box. You can have a look at it and pay attention to whilst being graduating in your particular field. So coming towards the end of the program, so those students who are interested, they would like to take the further step, and they may be a little apprehensive about the current situation, that how the COVID situation is taking up its shape in Ireland and what's happening with the visa process. So would you like to quickly throw some lights on it, those for the students who wants to take the step now?
Yeah, sure. I think COVID every country is facing in a different way, and it's not we expected or we anticipated that this is going to go or not go. But I will say that some positive news is that the mortality rate, and especially in Ireland, is very low. So and the numbers are pretty low. They are they came to a lockdown when there were only 600 COVID cases. Look at us. We have got 100,000 COVID cases every day, but also it's a bigger country and much more population. But saying so, I think guys who are trying to travel, and I don't think COVID is, in a nutshell, it's a very difficult proposition for you to travel or you to get a visa or all these things. I think a lot of questions are coming to us that what about the industries and how do they react to COVID and what will happen to the economy? First of all, you guys will graduate if you go in September next year or in January next year. You guys will graduate by September 2022 or January 2022. By that time, COVID will be a thing of past. And secondly, I think service industries, I'm not saying about the manufacturing industry, because manufacturing industries need the labor, the manpower, the factories need to keep open. So there may be some restrictions on physical distancing and social distancing, But service industries, I don't think they have been, and at least in Ireland, they have been really bothered with this particular pandemic. Yeah, some amount of, will always be there. But by the time you guys graduate, whoever is listening and whoever wants to aspire to go and study in Ireland, I don't think COVID will play any challenge or any problems for you. And I want to, actually answer one more thing about what Neville really mentioned about overseas education and being an employer. When he sees someone, a foreign overseas graduate and an Indian graduate. I'm not saying that the Indian graduates, I'm an Indian graduate myself. So I'll just say one thing on that when you go to a foreign country, you also bring in, you become, independent. You see exposure to life. I was the most shy kid in the college. Everybody used to think that I'm dumb, and not like dumb, like dumb. I can't speak. But look at me, I'm in a career of public speaking now. And this has changed because of international education. So I think whoever is listening and wherever the families who has got family business also was thinking that, you just have to come and sit, please send for 2 years or 3 years and let them study in a foreign destination.
Wow. I mean, that's an inspiration, friends. You can take it from Aritra and his personality. And certainly he is there. He's heading the organization and speaking to a lot of aspiring kids and parents to inspire them to go abroad. And what both of the speakers have rightly said, that give yourself a chance to explore yourself. And then maybe anytime you can come back or go somewhere else to permanently settle down and do some business. But explore the world, explore your potential and opportunities around you before even you want to talk about settling down. With this, we come to the last question, and let me ask this question to Neville first. Neville, what's your one line of advice, success advice, what we call in this program, one line of success advice to our students before we end up the program?
Be a lifelong learner.
Right.
Yeah, so the average shelf life of a skill is for 4-5 years. So you have to learn new skills and keep yourself relevant.
Absolutely. I think it's not golden, but the diamond words, what Neville said, is that be a lifelong learner. And especially in the field of IT, you got to learn a lot. The technology is changing at no time. And by the time you start using it, the new things are coming up. which is distracting you to change the loyalty of using that platform or the technology. And in this given scenario, what he rightly said, that be always a good learner, and it applies to, in fact, everyone, and including the entrepreneurs like us. We keep, it's also challenging for us to keep up ourselves updated and be ahead of the competition. Thank you, Neville, for that piece of advice. And for the same question, your one line success advice, Aritra, for students.
I think, mix capability and attitude, because, in Hindi, I'll just say, I'm not sure everybody understands Hindi or not, but kabiliyat or niyat, these two things are extremely important. You can have capability, but you need to have the right attitude to deliver the capability.
Wow, Kabiliyat and Niyat. I mean, it reminds me of Amir Khan saying this dialogue, like you said in the line of.
I copied it from there. No,
Okay. So it's a very important. So friends, make yourself Kabil, in order, and then keep your niyat very safe, keep your intentions very clear, and that would definitely help you grow further, as we are listening from the successful people who are already proved themselves. So with this, thank you for everyone who joined us today. If you have got any question, you can still post, and our counselors can come back to you. It was truly a wonderful session which we had today, discussing about promising career in information technology. And thank you, both of our speakers, once again for your insightful conversation. Really, thank you very much for your time as well.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
So in case, listeners, if you have got any further information you're seeking for, please feel free to connect with us on our helpline number 99870 99890, or you can visit our website and leave your email at info@alif.in, and our Kabil counselors will be able to help you and assist you with the solution which you're looking for. So my name is Aslam Sheikh, founder and CEO of Alif, signing off with a promise to come back again next week, next Friday at 5 p.m. with another interesting topic and some amazingly talented speaker enlightening you on a subject matter that matters you the most. Until then, thank you for watching the program. Stay safe and stay excited.